If you're from the USA or really anywhere else in the world, and especially if you're Canadian, you should put a reservation down for a Tesla Cybertruck with full self-driving. It might be one of the best investments you ever make. Not investing advice. Hey there, welcome to my channel, Paperback Investor, and in today's video I'll be explaining why you should put a reservation down for a Tesla Cybertruck, and if you've already got one reserved, you might want to put down several reservations, especially if you're from Canada, but really anywhere in the world, you should consider doing this. So in this video, we're going to be going through some of the numbers behind why you should do this. I'll also be going through an email update I got from Tesla with some timeline updates for the Tesla Cybertruck. So I did a previous video on why you should reserve the Tesla Cybertruck, and I titled it How to Get a Free Tesla Cybertruck. And essentially in the video I explained that right now through Tesla you can reserve or pre-order the Cybertruck, and the great thing is you can also lock in the full self-driving at a fixed price. This is in Canadian dollars, 10,600 Canadian dollars as your fixed price, and that's a locked-in price. So even if Tesla achieves if level 5 robotaxi regulator approved vehicles in the next couple of years before your vehicle is delivered to you, full self-driving could increase dramatically. It could be worth maybe $50,000 by then, but you could still purchase the vehicle at your locked-in price with $10,600 for full self-driving. And you do all this by really only spending $150 of a fully refundable fee. So if at any point up until delivery you decide, no, this is not for me, or I can't afford this, or full self-driving isn't solved yet, you can just get a cancellation and get your $150 back. So really it's zero risk or near zero risk for potentially huge reward. And I explained all this in this previous video. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will link it down below in the description. I'm going to run through the spreadsheet that I presented in that video very briefly, and also link this spreadsheet down below in the description, so feel free to have a look at it and copy it over to a new spreadsheet if you want, play with some of the inputs. But essentially I break everything down by revenues, costs, and then kind of a total revenue, total cost, total net income on a per mile basis per day and per year basis. Some of the inputs are per day, some are per year, some are per mile. Some of the major inputs I'm choosing are that the car could drive a total of 300 miles per day, and 50% of those miles are going to be billable miles. This might actually be low, as I looked at in other videos. This might be high. Again, you can play with these inputs a lot. I think in the first few years, the revenue per billable mile for a robotaxi, first few years a robotaxi exists, I think could be in this north of $1. So I put $1.25 in this category. All these figures are going to be really US dollars and miles is what we're talking about here. So $1.25, and that's going to get you a revenue per day and revenue per year of $68,000 per year. I'm assuming Tesla, they're going to charge that upfront cost of $10,000 full self-driving, which again, you can lock in at this rate, but also I think they're going to take a per kilometer or per mile rate off of the revenue that's generated. So I think it would probably be a combination of fixed sort of upfront fee that also revenue takes. So if they take 15%, they're going to take $10,000 for a year. The Cybertruck, I'm suggesting, and if you do this plan, you should order this single motor, the cheapest one, because this is going to be the most cost-effective robotaxi vehicle, and it's going to last 500,000 miles. I'm suggesting potentially they could last longer than that when you're talking about a steel skeleton and long-lasting batteries, but 500,000 is what I'm putting down as sort of the full lifespan, which at the mileage you're doing, that's 4.6 years of robotaxi life. And that gives you your sort of cost per year, per day, per mile for the Cybertruck itself. Again, full self-driving is $10,000, inputting that. Of course, this is the big time cost saver by doing this now. You're really risking nothing, but you're getting $10,000. You're locking in the $10,000. If the price of the Cybertruck goes much higher, or full self-driving is solved, this could easily go to $50,000, for example, and people would still willingly pay that. but you lock in your $10,000, you save $40,000 by taking this approach. Insurance, I'm saying $4,000 a year. What are they going to price robotaxi insurance at? I'm not sure, but I'm putting, for the amount of miles you're doing, I'm putting a pretty expensive insurance on there. Tires, again, I'm saying pretty expensive. Nice truck tires, $3,000. They're going to last 60,000 miles. So that gives you, again, your rates based on your mileage per mile, per day, per year, those rates. And electricity costs, break those down as well based on the efficiency of the Cybertruck. That's what that's estimating. It's from that source. Cleaning costs, I'm saying $20 a day. So every maybe few days you get a thorough cleaning, maybe $60 every 3 days. It's getting fully cleaned out. Maybe in between there's lighter cleaning that's a little bit cheaper, but that's sort of your average, $140 a week. And then also I'm assuming that this money, you're taking maybe $50,000 loan to pay for the Cybertruck and the full self-driving, and I'm saying you have a 4% interest rate. You just pay your interest on that, nothing else. You're paying about $2,000 a year just in interest payments. And then maintenance as well. There's not going to be a lot of maintenance on an electric vehicle. It's the beauty of electric vehicles, but some $4,000 of maintenance there. So again, you can play with all these inputs yourself. You add up all those, you add up your revenue, do the math, and this is, after all that, you're going to have a net income of about 32 cents per billable mile, per day of $48 a day, and per year $17,000, and then over the lifespan of the vehicle, about $80,730. And of course, this, because we factored into the cost of the Cybertruck, this would include, over the life of the vehicle, you actually pay down that loan and entirely pay off the Cybertruck so that you have a complete ownership of it. And then on top of that ownership, you then have another $80,000 in net income generated over those 4.5 years. So to me, if they achieve full self-driving robotaxis, if Tesla achieves this is going to be a slam dunk investment. Obviously, if you're Canadian like myself, you're probably thinking, well, yeah, even if robotaxis do come along, we're not going to really have robotaxis in Canada, maybe based on regulators, and maybe for several years after the United States. And I think that's probably true myself, what I would guess. But even if you are Canadian, you have to imagine that there's going to be hundreds or thousands or even millions of other people doing the same approach of trying to monetize a robotaxi. And there will be people, I'm assuming, that will do this remotely. You might have ownership of the robotaxi from Canada, but it's actually maintained, maybe a third party who takes some of this net profit, this $80,000 over the vehicle. Even if they took half of that and did the full sort of management of the vehicle down, say, in Phoenix or wherever robotaxis are first released, that would still be a great investment. You could, maybe over 4.5 years, you maybe make $40,000 and you pay off. You still have a robotaxi that still would have the carry value itself, or maybe could continue driving past the 500,000 miles. Now, I got this email a few weeks ago, and the sales rep basically suggesting I should consider getting into another model of Tesla before my Cybertruck arrives, because they're saying the single motor configuration is currently planned to begin production in late 2022, with deliveries to take place in 2023 in the US. The dual and tri-motor configurations are currently planned to begin production in late 2021, with deliveries to take place in early 2022 in the US. And then they say, and as Canada will be several months behind, a lot of Cybertruck reservation holders have been taking 24 to 36 month leases. So again, they're trying to sell me a different model, which is fine, but this is really valuable information for us. The dual and tri-motor, the most expensive versions, are going to be hopefully produced this year, 2021, and start deliveries next year, 2022. And then the single motor, which I have reserved, is going to take place probably in late 2022 and then early 2023 in the US. It could be mid 2023 by the time Canadians start getting their single motor configuration. And to me, that's really great. Actually, a phenomenal advantage as a Canadian, because the longer I can wait to get my reservation, or kind of my reservation comes due, I think there's going to be a better and better chance that full self-driving actually comes to fruition, or Tesla actually reaches level 5 full self-driving status. So for me as a Canadian, I really welcome this delayed timeline. And I have only one on reserve, but I really might consider putting several more down on reserve. The longer, it's pushed out on the horizon, the better and better chance there will be that Tesla actually achieves level 5 full self-driving vehicles. So, and by 2023, that's mid-2023, that certainly seems possible. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to just be as a Canadian, it doesn't have to be in Canada, but even if I only get the vehicle by 2023 and maybe I remotely operate it in some part of the US and it's managed by some other management company, that gives them more time for those kind of companies, third-party management companies like that, to become established and start managing fleets of vehicles. So it basically gives me more time and more for my bet, this sort of zero risk bet, to come to fruition. So to me, it's great, especially as a Canadian. But if you are an American as well, also great, because these timelines, especially that single motor, you're talking even those ones in the US, single motors are 2023, early 2023. I think there's a good chance that there's a reasonable chance that Tesla could actually have operating robotaxis by that time. So hopefully this helped make it clear to you why you really should have a robotaxi with full self-driving, a single motor model, reserved as a potential robotaxi investment. And really, you can't go wrong. I mean, if any point you want to cancel your investment or cancel your reservation, you can do so. Let us know in the comments down below, what country are you from? Do you have a Tesla Cybertruck on reserve? And if so, how many do you have on reserve? Love to hear from you guys, and any feedback on this. Again, you can check out that spreadsheet down below or that previous video where I explained even more detail. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, it's in the bag. Cheers.